Hey everyone, it's your boy Stutter God. I'm back at it again with another video. Now I apologize for lacking with the overly long videos. Usually the last one was like 5 minutes. But you know what? I'm trying to get past that because we haven't really had any inspiration nowadays. Now of course, I want to talk about something else that caught my eye. But my partner here, which y'all know from my recent video not that long ago, decided that we should do something new. So today, we are listing 10 facts about child soldiers around the world. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I find this topic really interesting. It's kind of different than your old stuff.
And with that said, let's get right into it before I fall asleep. Because a nigga tired. I'm making this at like 10:31 in the morning. The afternoon. At night, nigga, at night. Whatever. Anyways. Famison Research Foundation, fallout from the coronavirus pandemic could lead to more children being recruited by armed groups. The United Nations warned on Friday, as the world marked the International Day against the use of child soldiers, also known as Red Hand Day. I never heard that. Have you?
No, I haven't.
Red Hand Day. Never heard that. I wonder why. Despite global efforts to end the use of child soldiers, girls and boys are still forced into combat as fighters in other roles in at least 14 countries, including the Democratic Republic of Congo, South Sudan, and Somalia. Now that I'm not surprised. Somalia is just different, bro. They just different. These niggas out here kidnapping boats and holding people hostages for some ransom money. That's like the whole economic foundation right there.
Yeah, they're very different than how we do things. Very different.
You heard that? You ever watched that movie with the "I am the captain now"? Look at me. I'm the captain now. That shit was funny. I actually watched it. It was actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, here are 10 facts about child soldiers. Are you ready?
Yep.
Here we go. 1. 10 of thousands of children are estimated to be recruited and used by armed groups in 2019 alone. More than 7,740 children, some as young as 6, were recruited and used as soldiers around the world. According to the United Nations, most are recruited by non-state groups. Okay? Huh. The world is fucked up. Some countries just don't care. 2. The Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen currently have the largest number of child soldiers. You know why I think this? I think it's because a lot of them niggas be in conflicts like 24/7. And they're just running out of people, so they just using children now.
Yeah, but it's still, that's not right at all. I don't care what your rule is. Morally, that's just wrong.
It's wrong, but when you're to the point where you're using your own son who's like 6 years old and to help defend against invaders or to help aid in a war of any kind, at that point, you ain't got no morality. Bro, you just trying to survive. You trying to really win. You trying to do something.
Yeah, it's killed or be killed, basically.
Oh, God. Matter of fact, those children probably got PTSD, DID, schizophrenia. They probably got a load of shit. Them niggas traumatized. They ain't never gonna have a normal life. Them niggas probably grow up to be serial killers.
Exactly. So basically, in the end, they're just boosting the crime rate.
Nah, they're boosting the murder rate because young niggas
are going to kill again 9 times out of 10.
I think they're boosting the murder rate because young niggas we just don't care. We go for we reckless. We do some crazy shit that the adults don't be expecting. So they're probably getting a lot of bodies using kids, or at least They're getting somewhere. But I definitely do not approve of this shit. It is fucking terrible. Do not get me wrong. It is fucking terrible. What I'm saying is when your country is in constant conflict, you run out of niggas to send out to kill more niggas. So when that happens, you're gonna use sons and daughters.
Yeah, like that's
in
the
order,
last option. Like
yeah.
the last you got. That's just crazy to me. I can't fathom how people would. I don't know. It's just crazy. Like, but I guess because they're born into it, they're raised to fight. They're raised to kill. They're raised to use guns. They probably know how to build a gun, take it apart, and everything like that of a soldier out here. Like in America, that's an adult that would know how to do. You know. So like they're programmed basically to be like killing machines.
That's probably where they got us beat. Like the U.S. bro, they had to get into the mental place. These niggas, bro, straight out the womb, they had to kill to survive. They probably more badass than us. I ain't gonna lie. Like these niggas are really killers. Like they are trained, cold-hearted killers. And in my opinion, they could probably whoop it. They could probably, like, if they were a group together and thinking smartly, they could probably, like, I'm not gonna say they can win, but if it was a group of U.S. soldiers and a group of child soldiers facing off, I believe they have a higher chance than regular soldiers do. Because these niggas, they were literally bred for the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Especially because little kids, like, as a child, you have more endurance. You have more, like...
Yeah.
Energy.
These niggas run around for crazy reasons.
Like, you know, as to an adult, if we were to get shot, it would be more, like, detrimental to us. But if a kid or, like, a child were to get shot, they may be able to still move. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, still be able to...
I mean, I guess they smaller and stuff, so the bullet might miss and hit someone else, like it's the soldier and shit, when they trying to aim for the head, because they mad small. But I don't think that really matters. What I'm saying is, when it comes down to it, and they're using guerrilla warfare, I feel like these children got a good chance. They really be these niggas be in the trees for real. These niggas be in the trees.
Probably, like I can only imagine. Like it gets real. It gets real out there. Like that's crazy.
Bro, imagine like you wake up in the morning, you go to school, you come back, right? And you come back home, you sit all your school stuff down, you know, you talk to your parents for like 5 minutes. You know, then like an hour later, you just go into your room, pull some shit under your bed. You got a whole rifle and army gear. You just put that shit on. You just go straight to the conflict.
Yeah,
like
Nick.
Nick.
It's gonna be hard to separate reality and not even reality, but like separate war from regular life. Like they won't know how to be regular.
Yeah, these niggas will just be sitting down in classroom doing their homework for 1 minute, and the next they see a conflict outside. They throw the book around, grab a knife, put it in their mouth, put some warpaint on, and literally jump out the window to catch the fade. Oh god, these niggas be reckless. Oh my god, I like. Oh my god, these niggas probably whoop our ass. Like really, like they got us beat for real. Like a regular person, they would not stand a chance. They had no chance. None. Like this is crazy. 2. The Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia, and Syria. I already read this. Oh yeah, I already read it. Okay, number 3. Children are not only recruited by armed forces and groups as fighters, they are also used as informants, looters, messengers, spies, and as domestic or sexual slaves. Now the spy stuff, I can get, right? Because who's gonna look at their little kid and be like, "Yeah, you're my enemy," right? Like, how you gonna look at a 7-year-old, 6-year-old boy or girl who's covered in dirt, scar on their face, probably like a broken leg? Are you just sitting and think like, yeah, you would stand as a spy? You wouldn't think that, not at all. A normal person would not think this. So I feel sure
That's
like,
why it's more like
yeah,
I can see that being more like, okay, I get why you would use him as a spy.
yeah.
All that other stuff, that's crossing the line.
But even still, spy's job is not for a kid. That shit gets them killed real quick. They do not care if you're a spy or a kid. If you're a kid and you're a spy, they still don't give a fuck. They'll still kill you no matter what. So the job is still dangerous. I can get why I can get why they might do it, but at the same time, don't fucking do it. Cause I just ain't like, come on, bro.
It's wrong.
Yeah. They said used as informants too, so I guess these little kids know more stuff than the adults do. And that's crazy. Looters, I get, cause niggas steal for crazy reasons. They probably good thieves. Where were they in 2020? We needed them. We were looting the shit out of America.
Facts. Even though I don't really agree with it, we really were. It was really wild out here.
Yeah, cause you soft. That's why.
No, because I don't think that stealing is solving any problems.
Okay, you right. The stealing part I understand, but the birding and shit, I'm down for 100%. The only thing I said this what I'm saying. I said this what I'm saying again. The only thing I say and will not tolerate and will not support is human to human violence. I don't go out and just seek to hurt each other for no reason. If you have a valid reason, then okay, that's different. But just don't go out looking to hurt someone that has nothing to do with what you're feeling or what's happening right now. Like, to me, that makes no fucking sense. Like, do what you have to do, but leave other people out of it if they're not a part of it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, keep the beef between who the beef is for, not like
exactly. Exactly. Now, sexual slaves part, that means we're going to hell.
Most definitely.
On God will take care of it. I don't need to worry.
Yeah, there's really no need to even talk about that.
Not even discuss, because like everybody knows. Let's see. Number 4, the forced recruitment of children for use in armed conflict is considered one of the worst form of child labor, alongside abuses such as trafficking for sexual exploitation, according to the UN, International Labor Organization, ILO. Okay, I mean they're used as child soldiers. Like, wow, I'm surprised. Is that bad? Are you serious? Like, I thought being a child soldier was easy. I thought that shit was a walk in the park. But come on now, that's literally like a brain dead nigga can figure that out. That's you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like,
come on now. Everybody knows this. That shouldn't be listed. That's just lazy. That's lazy, bro. That's not, I mean, like, something we should know. We already know, regardless. We don't need to be reminded, or we don't need to be retold something we already know off the bat from reading the actual word. Niggas are dumb. 5. Not all soldiers are boys holding guns. Many girls are also used by armed forces and groups across the globe, including in Afghanistan, Colombia, the Central African Republic, Nigeria, South Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. We'll talk about Colombia for a second. That country is fucked up. Like, the racial injustice over there is insane. Like, it really is.
Yeah, but see, they're also different. They, instead of beefing about the things like economic wise, and they don't beef as hard for certain things. That's why that in particular is like the most highest. Out of like all the percentage of crimes that happen down there, that's probably the highest because nothing else really matters to them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but saying like to me, because they killed protesters. So to me, if I was protesting and niggas, and all of a sudden a nigga just gets killed right in front of me, I'm not protesting anymore. I'm going to war. Like if I
Well,
have
think about it. That's how it used to be back when Martin Luther King and all that. Not even just that, but like
Martin Luther King was a peaceful nigga. What are you talking about? That's more.
no, but he used to march too, though, and people used to die in front of him. The cops used to use fire hose to put people down and shoot people down or make them go home. Like, so it was very, very violent, and people were getting shot. So also being sent out on people. So it's like out there, they're still living in an old like mindset, an old like.
Not gonna.
We progressed. In my opinion, we progressed as one. We don't do as much fuck shit as we did before. Like that's.
Nigga, like, the people ain't pressing us as much as they did before. I mean, they still are, but at the same time, it was so much worse back then. It has nothing to do with us, and that's how other people viewed us. What we did was only reacting to what they were doing. Every race has a flaw, but doesn't excuse what's been going on ever since the very beginning. The only thing I gotta say about Martin Luther King and the march, they still listen to Malcolm X instead, bro. They still listen to some Malcolm X because that nigga tells you the truth. That all hug, that hug it out, that peaceful sit, hug your enemy and all that ain't gonna work. Y'all should have been defend yourselves.
But sometimes it will though. In certain situations it does.
So you're telling me that when a whole government is oppressing you, hugging them will also make it better? Really? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, not in every situation.
But straight up, if the government is actively oppressing and killing people, and you go out and hug them, will it help? Yes or no?
Well, not so much hugging, but instead of fighting fire with fire, you can definitely sit down and speak like an adult. Because that's why they still treat us the way they do. Because we don't, instead of gathering together and making a plan or coming together and doing something more peaceful, like a tree. You know what I'm saying? Starting to the long plate. We loot, or we kill people, or we try to fight the cops back. It's not, in my opinion, I feel like we should move smarter. If you move smarter and more more.
But that's what we did with Martin Luther King, though. That's the point. Martin Luther King did this.
He definitely got the ball rolling.
Some, yeah, not most, because the fuck shit's still happening.
Yeah, but then again, you can't that's like saying, okay, well, we're gonna stop the people from carrying guns, so you're gonna get arrested if you are caught riding around with a gun. Do you think has people stopped riding around with guns even though they don't have a license?
But that's the point. If people, you see, peaceful protests only get you that far. If you mix the two, if it makes peaceful. I'm not saying like peaceful protests is like useless completely. It can be used to grab attention. But what I'm saying is, if you mix peaceful with a bit of violence, it gets the job done. Soon as Martin Luther King died, people protested and from what I believe happened, the Human Rights Bill was signed like soon after that. So, what they did. At the beginning, they were all peaceful, but at the end, they committed violence, and what happened was, they got shit done.
Okay, Tyson.
These niggas don't say my government name.
We forget. Okay, no, but honestly, that to me, violence doesn't solve anything. Violence doesn't get you
It does,
anywhere.
because you're being too simple-minded. Violence is a broad term. It doesn't always classify. Mother Nature uses violence every single day.
How?
That's kill or be killed, eating, the way of life, how animals treat their children.
But
That's violence.
Life,
Every
that's different. That's not like violence.
That is violence. That's a form of violence. Violence have different forms. Whether you like it or not, you committed violence several times in your life. There is mental violence, physical violence, spiritual violence. The list goes on. There's more than one form of violence. Everyone is violent because whether you like it or not, they committed violence. This is not the type they're used to seeing it on TV. You can't sit here and say you're not a violent person when you already committed violence.
But that doesn't make you who you are.
No, but what I'm saying is you shouldn't not use violence just because you're not a violent person. You don't believe it outright. Because whether you like it or not, this whole country is founded on violence. So you can't sit here and say that violence itself is useless. Because a lot of wars and a lot of revolutions were made through violence and it got the job done, whether it be good or bad. Hitler used violence to oppress the Jewish people. I completely disapprove of what he did. Fuck that nigga. Fuck him. Okay? What I'm saying is, he used violence to oppress the people, the Jewish people. And that's what he did, and it worked. It was successful. Thank God it all failed in the end. Right? Thank God that happened. But he used the violence, and it got the job done. From that point. Later on, it failed, but from that point, it got the job done. Right? And they used violence to free themselves. So violence can be used, and violence is good and bad. But we can't sit here and say violence is purely bad and just disagree with it entirely when it's all about how you use violence. If, for example, right, say that I went out there and I was protesting for George Floyd, right? And I see a cop shoot somebody right in front of me, right? And there was like literally no way out. And let's say the cop is about to aim for another person that's not me, right? And let's say I look around and I see a brick. Now, I'm not saying that this is what I would do automatically, but hypothetically. So I pick up the brick, I throw it at the cop, I hit him, and the cop shoots again, but I missed the person he was aiming for.
Now, then what happens? So, every action has a reaction.
Yeah, that's true. But I say that cop's life. Now it's mean.
Now your life is in danger.
It's been in danger. It's been in danger as soon as that cop put his gun on me. So now it's up to me to defend myself, wherever necessary, whether it be violent or not or non-violent. Of course, that action requires violence.
I wouldn't do that. If
so you
I would,
so you would
to play out the way it's going to play out, I wouldn't involve myself and try to stop. Because if you try, okay.
Now I'm not saying I would. I'm not saying I would. I said hypothetically, I used violence to stop violence. If only temporarily, but it still worked. I still saved somebody's life. What happens next is unknown. Whatever happens next after that is completely out of my control. But I had for 1 second and for one moment I had control of the situation, and I used that to save someone else's life.
I just don't think using violence gets you anywhere. Especially look at those little kids that are soldiers. Do you think violence is getting them anywhere? Do you think
that's different though? There's different types and different forms of violence. You can't think that violence is one thing, like I said.
I think violence is negative. It's a negative word. It has a negative.
Yes, but you still commit violence on a near daily basis, whether you think it or not.
I do not.
Yes, you do.
I do not.
So you never committed mental violence. You never ever hurt somebody's feelings before. Never.
No.
Never. You never hurt somebody's feelings.
No.
Never. Okay? So you're gonna lie. You're gonna lie.
I haven't. If I spoke how I felt and you chose to take that how you chose to take that, that's on you.
Okay, but still, that's not what I'm asking you. Have you ever, intentionally or not, hurt somebody's feelings?
No.
No.
They hurt their own feelings.
That's not what. So you have, yes or no?
Yeah. No, I have not.
You said yes. I'm not asking you, bro. You're not listening to me. Intentionally or not, whether you think it's your fault or not, have you hurt somebody's feelings before? Yes or no?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. So you committed. So you committed emotional violence. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's different types of violence, and it can be used good or bad. So violence itself is not purely bad. It's only determined how you use it that solves the problem.
So technically, what you're saying, if we play devil's advocate, if we were to spin it like directing towards the kids soldiers,
that's something I do not approve of.
That if some kids are weak-minded or if they're being bullied or whatever as kids, and then when they get drafted and have to fight on a team and have a family basically, because when you're at war and the people that you're, it's like, you know.
Where are you going with this?
Huh?
Where are you going with this, bro?
I'm basically saying that the violence can have a positive outcome, just like you said. So
yes.
Kids fighting. If a kid is weak-minded and has always been picked on, but
that's different. That's a whole different scenario, though. I'm purely saying.
That to me, that's what violence is. I don't think emotional violence exists. I don't think that all that you hurt my feelings. That was no.
That is a part of violence, though. That you can look it up for yourself. That is a part of violence. You can look it up. It's a fact. Whether you agree or disagree with it is non-negotiable because it's a real thing. Because again, violence itself is broad.
That to me, violence to me is physical violence.
Exactly. You're thinking of one form of violence. That's what I'm saying. You're thinking of only one form. But in reality, it's such a broad term. There's several different types. So even if you think of one form, that doesn't mean that there's not other stuff to deal with. That's like saying, "Oh yeah, there's a war in Afghanistan, and that's the only war we're dealing with. That's the only war that we're dealing with right now because that's the only war being presented. That's the only war you're seeing on TV. When in reality, there's several different wars happening as we speak. Or Ukraine, for example, there's more than one war besides Ukraine happening. We just don't see it. So because we don't see it and we don't know of it, doesn't mean that it's not happening. You can't limit yourself into thinking that when something's happening, it's only happening when you see it or when you hear about it. It's more to it than that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
But again, I disagree with what's happening. Don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, violence should be the last resort. But when you were pushing people constantly, that's when I think that a different form of violence needs to occur. That's the only time I think violence is necessary in order to defend yourself and in order to save more lives than just your own. Because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, people are going to use violence against you. And if that's the case, then you have the right to use violence against them purely out of necessity and in order to defend yourself. But changing the subject because we're getting way off topic. Back to the child soldiers. Number 6. The recruitment and use of children is one of the 6 UN defined violations affecting children in times of war. Excuse me. The list also includes the killing and maiming of children, sexual violence against children, child abductions, attacking against schools or hospitals, and denial of human access.
What does maiming mean? I'm not trying to sound ignorant, but
What's what?
Mating.
Mating? Like mating?
Mating, like you said in the beginning. Children.
I think that's like kind of cutting them open and stuff like that. Like slaughter, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, something like that. Number 7. Many children are forcibly recruited and used by armed forces or groups, but others are pushed into joining armed groups or forces due to socio-economic factors such as extreme poverty or lack of access to education. So these niggas got the black treatment. They were.
Oh my goodness! You did not just say that.
They were suffering like us, and they had to do what they had to do in order to survive. Can't blame them. Can't blame them. Can't blame them. And in case y'all understand by the black people, like what I mean by the black treatment, I mean it as we, as a black society, we are suffering through poverty and homelessness, and it's being done purposefully in order for us to act out, air quote, and become something we're not, because we are not a naturally violent people. You are only who you are through mimicking, learning, and looking up to those older than you. And so when you're a kid and you're walking around and your whole neighborhood is full of violence, gang banging, drug selling, 9 times out of 10 you are going to end up the same way, because you don't have enough money to get out that type of environment, and so you are forced to adapt in order to ensure your own survival. Now, regardless, I'm not saying that as a definite excuse. Some people, I'm just saying that as a way for people to understand that it's not always so simple as choosing not to do it. Because at the end of the day, some people just don't have the necessities and or the resources and the resources required to simply walk away. This is not a fucking fairy tale. This is real life. Sometimes there's no such thing as a happy ending to characters. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Life. With the real world.
Yeah, because definitely it's crazy that you just said that, because I remember I had this same conversation about life, saying how this is really, we were not taught this in school. Growing up, life, just speaking from my perspective, when I was in school, they made it seem like everyone, this is the roadmap to follow. Go to school, graduate high school, Try to make sure you get a scholarship. Once you get a scholarship, go to college. Once you go to college, you get a job. Once you get a job, you get a house. After you get a house, you can get retirement. Then life's complete. They never mention all the fucking steps you have to take to get to college, to get those scholarships, to stay in college, because life happens while you're in college. You know what I'm saying? And then to get a job when you get out of college, that's even harder. So it's just like, life isn't what they make it. Life is some real crazy ass jungle shit. Literally.
They still don't teach me how to do my taxes. I'm figuring that shit out by myself at this point.
I did it myself. I said, you know what? Because I was not trying to. They're not going to get me.
How do you think? How do you think it's going to help you get a job where they ain't going to teach you how to do taxes?
Exactly.
Makes no fucking sense.
I'm not even going to lie. I did take personal finance, and they did teach us something about doing taxes. So in reality, doing them like in real life, like that shit is nothing like they teach you. I literally, when I looked at that TurboTax and I had to enter my information by myself, I was like, wow, this is crazy. I was not prepared for this at all.
Life. Actually,
hey, sink or swim.
On God. And actually, number 8 kind of goes into what we were talking about earlier, I think. 8. Armed conflicts have damaging effects on children directly involved in violence and atrocities, according to UNICEF. Girls and boys exposed to the horrors of war are often left with long-lasting psychological scars and frequent needs psychological support upon their release. Who would have known? Who would have knew? Wow, so tell me that they aren't okay from just, having to spend...
Yeah,
like
they're not
really?
Regular active members of society. Like, I'm shocked.
Oh God, I thought these niggas were just like cold-blooded killers from the get-go. I mean, I know I made a joke about it, but come on now, it's common sense. Oh my God. 9. If former child soldiers are not successfully reintegrated into society, there is a high risk of them being recruited again, according to Save the Children reintegration support programs are often unfunded, aid workers say. So these niggas, if not taught how to live life, can just say fuck it and just go back to war. Or just be simply taken back into war.
Well, that's not so bad. If that's their lifestyle, that's their job for the rest of their life, then...
I mean, I can understand, because, if you only, if you spend, most of the beginning of your life doing this shit, you might just go right back to it, because it's the only thing you know how to do. Even if it fucks you up, you're still probably going to do it. That's like me, I'm working at a job, and it's my favorite job in the world, and one day I just break my whole fucking arm. At the end of the day, even though that job causes me pain, immense pain, I'm still going go right back because I love it, Well, actually, that's a bad example. That's a bad example because these children don't automatically love war. I'm just trying.
Some of them probably do.
Yeah. But
some of them probably have a thrill for that kind of stuff, they get excitement.
True.
Especially as a little kid, being around all that action and everything happening so fast.
At first it's fun, but after a while it's scary. Like when the adrenaline hits.
Once you see somebody drop in front of you, then you're like, oh, this is real
exactly.
life. Like, oh shit.
But again, it's not like these kids are American kids. These kids are from different countries, so they automatically think differently than us. They ain't go out playing Call of Duty, so they ain't really figuring on that life. So I don't know. But if I was somebody who was taught, if I grew up, if I'm boxing, right, and I fucking hate it, right, and it hurts me every time I do it, physically and mentally, right, and one day I have a choice to quit and go back into society. And when I do that, I go into society. I don't know how the fuck, I don't know what to do. I don't know anything else but to box. Like, that's literally all I was taught and raised upon. So fuck it, I'm gonna go right back. Even though I hate to say it, it's the only thing that's feeding me right now. It's the only thing that I know how to do. It's my own purpose. If I was raised how to box, and I was taught how to box, and I've been boxing since I was 6, I'm going right back to boxing when I can't figure nothing else out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All in all, I wish things were different for them. But
yeah.
If that, like, I'm not in that part of the world.
Oh God, no, that wouldn't be me, nigga. I'll be going.
That's what I'm saying.
You find a war by yourself.
We have a different mentality.
I'm hiding in my house. Y'all are not black.
And especially
I'm Gucci.
Too, their parents probably bred them into it. Their parents are also probably like, war is good. Like, they're telling, like, as a child, if you hear your mom and dad.
Well, I don't think they're saying like war is good. I'm just saying because like, if there's sometimes they're being forced into this and they know nothing but conflict, and they probably teaching their kids how to use guns just to defend themselves, and because of that, this spirals out of control. Some parents probably do that. To do what you're saying, like they like love this shit, and like want their kids to be around, want to teach that to their kids. But I think some of them are just lost on what to really do. Because when you're like around that shit for years and years, and it's constant, what the fuck are you gonna do? You can try your best to teach your kid not to do it, but at the end of the day, he can get caught at the wrong place and time, and that's all it takes for him to become a cold-blooded killer. So it's hard,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, all we can do is pray for them.
Oh God, that's what I'm doing. I'm praying for these kids. I mean, if I could do something about it, I would definitely. I would if I could. Definitely would.
Because not too long ago we were considered kids, so we might as well just pray or whatever you all believe in that's gonna listen to this video.
Hold up. Number 10. A total of 170 countries have ratified the optional protocol of the Convention on the Rights of the Child on the Involvement of Children in Armed Conflict, OPAC, which banned the participation of children under 18 in hostilities, but the practice continues in more than a dozen nations. All of them have conflict. Probably constant too. We probably blame the U.S. for some of that shit, cause they love countries just fighting themselves. Cause the CIA do that all the fucking time. They tell you themselves that we do this shit for America. They're really terrorists. Fuck the CIA. But yeah, guys. Overall, this was a good video. I feel
interesting. It tugs on, the heartstrings.
Yeah.
It gave me some knowledge because I didn't even know kids were really put on front lines like that.
Really, bro?
Still, I didn't know they still did it. Like, I thought by now we should have come to the conclusion that shit is just morally unjust. But
bro, you too sheltered, my guy. You too sheltered. You come on now.
I wish the best for everyone. everybody. That's why. I don't try to think about the negative and all that crazy stuff that could be happening.
I understand. I understand that. I do too. But at the same time, the world is a fucked up place. If racism can exist and it's allowed to still exist, where it kills people literally every day, and it killed thousands, then I don't expect anything else to happen and for me to be surprised. Because at the same time, this is the world out here. This is life. Whether heaven or hell exists, I don't know no more. If it does, this ship's gonna be full. And I'm talking about hell mostly. Because we humans, we just ain't saints. Not at heart. Or maybe we are, but I definitely believe there's a fifth thing that's pure good. I don't believe that. That's a myth. But regardless, I want to thank everyone for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Peace.